And it says we are live. It's Thursday night. I'm here. You're beautiful. That must mean it's time for GotBot Goes Live. I, of course, am your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Molson, a.k.a. GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe. And while you're at it, light them up, baby. Hit the notification bell. Helps me out a ton. Let you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that's in the description down below. Also in the description down below. And if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring. Or, of course, hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. And this is going to be the show where we're going to update some of the... Let me adjust the camera here a little bit. I have my computer a little bit, not different. I just have it angled a little bit different. This is going to be the show where we're going to update some stuff about Age of the Primes. We're going to talk a little bit about reveals for Yolo Park, for DNA Design, from Newage, including an upgrade kit from Newage, something that Newage is not really well known for, but we're going to do that. We're going to, of course, have fun with trivia. And you may have noticed in the thumbnail, this thing, we're going to start the unboxing for the holiday season from our buddy Maximal 10. If you've been here for his holiday unboxings in the past, you know that he could have literally anything in there. It's always a bit of a wacky adventure from Maximal 10, as well as a couple of things from Starscream Wife. We're going to update my Slipstream because there's something that I want to touch on there, something that's important to me. And we're going to really, I don't want to say dive deep, but we're going to talk a little bit and spend a little bit of time talking about Titan class Star Optimus Prime. I'm going to call him Star Convoy. Let's be realistic here. But let's see where you guys are. Let me just get everything kind of clued up here. I hope you guys are having a tremendous week. I mean, the holiday season for a lot of people is kind of in full gear now. Not for everyone, of course, but for a lot of folks. And it depends. Maybe you don't celebrate anything this time of the year. Maybe you celebrate Kwanzaa. If you do, joyous Kwanzaa. Maybe you are gearing up for Hanukkah, which I believe this year starts on Christmas Day and ends I guess the day after New Year's Day, if I'm not mistaken. If there's somebody that can correct me about that in the comments, let me know for sure. But I think that's what it is this year. And, of course, anybody who celebrates Christmas, whether you're doing so because you're Christian and believe that, or you're doing so in a secular nature because you still believe in the goodness, the peace, the love, the generosity that Christmas embodies. I know people who are not very, very religious, and you know what? They still embody that, and they look at all of the good of the things that we celebrate in the, like the birth of Jesus, which is why the whole holiday exists. But they focus on something secular, like Santa and all the goodness that he represents in the world. Not a really religious guy myself. I love the season, and I love the warmth. I love the generosity. I love the patience and the peace of the season. And of course, I do indeed love wacky things like this that we're going to get into. I'm not going to do the whole thing tonight. I'm going to do some tomorrow as well. But we do have a lot to kind of jump into there. Let's see who is here. Hey, Blue Star. Got a notification after. Yeah, isn't that always the way? Isn't that always the way? Hey, Big M. Hey, Marcus. Hey, Celestial. Wow, that jumped down on me. I hate when this jumps down on me. Hey, Blue. Francis. He really is. Maximal 10 really is kind of the GOAT for this stuff. You're not even a little bit wrong. Hey, Tetra. Just wanted to let everybody know that Target has $10 off any 25 or over. Oh, okay. Now you know if you got a Target near you. Hey, Lion. Marcus. As we go down here a little bit. Hey, Caldeo. Tree separated. Blue, that's not really right. But okay, believe whatever you want. But that's It's a little more to it than that. It's a little more complicated than that. Um, I got Death Source today, and it's kind of an early gift. Death Source is so good. The actual Death Source, or did you get like the MMC one, which is also fantastic, to be honest with you? Okay. I got G1 Detour. I don't even remember G1 Detour offhand, but I mean, again, the MicroMasters, a lot of them kind of mesh together. Let's jump into the news, shall we, my friends? And let's kick things off tonight with this. Boom. Speaking of Yolo Park, this is the first thing from Yolo Park. They unveiled their AMK Pro Rise of the Beast Scourge. Again, undoubtedly, as is typical with these model kits, the sculpt, the paintwork, the detail is astonishing. If you didn't like Rise of the Beast for some unfathomable reason, though I know a lot of people didn't, I don't understand that, but I mean, what a baddie. What a baddie. What a beautiful detail. I have the Studio Series one. I don't call it Scourge because there's so many Scourges. I call him Burden. But you know what? It's the same idea, really, right? I love this. I think it looks phenomenal for capturing the robot look of Rise of the Scourge. There's only one picture yet. This is kind of a teaser, if you will. So we'll close that one out of it. And we'll go to Yolo Park's other thing. Oh, which is this? Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime. And we saw the grayscale of this AMK Pro model kit some time ago. So this should scale very nicely with the Scourge for display purposes. When that comes out, we are finally seeing kind of color images of him now. The blue is a little brighter than I expected. I thought the blue was going to be a little, I don't know, darker, grittier. I'm a bit surprised with the blue. I don't dislike it. I'm just surprised it's as bright as it is. I do find it very, very eye-popping. Again, the sculpted detail, the paint, the molded detail. I mean, you can't fault Yolo Park for their ability to capture those robot modes. I mean, admittedly, they don't transform, but come on. I think we all know that this is pretty phenomenal, really, right? And of course, alternate face, which I don't know if it's under the faceplate or if you can remove the faceplate face and just give him this face. I don't know. I always find Optimus with a face strange, but that's just me. Anyway, beautiful detail from Yolo Park with 2 new Rise of the Beast products in the Pro line, which is kind of like their closest thing to what we would call a main line. Like they're the I don't want to say the most simple kits because they're not. They're a little more than that, I believe. But they're fairly simple. They're not like the big complicated ones, like the Pleo or whatever they're called, right? Nevertheless, it seems like a pretty popular. The AMK Pros seem to be pretty popular. So you know what? Why wouldn't they dive deep? They already had the license, and why wouldn't they dive deep into it? Moving on though from Yolo Park, though that is impressive. How about this next? Something trash. That's right. This is Authentics. Is it Alpha or is it Bravo or what is it? Alpha. Alpha Mirage. And it's gigantic. You can see it here next to I think that's the Earthrise one. I don't think that's Siege. I'm pretty sure that's the Earthrise Deluxe. So you can see how much bigger this is than your typical Deluxe, as is typically the case with the Alphas. They're pretty giant. The silhouette and the styling here really makes me think like cheap budget classics Mirage is kind of how I see it. Now, that said, I've seen some Alpha Transformers that have been just awful. I've seen some that are okay. I feel like the Mirage, though, like I said, though probably quite hollow, I feel like the Mirage is okay. I mean, I don't think he has a knee. That's a bummer. But no, it's an out. It's a he has a knee, but it's like a out to the side knee. You know how we always talk about like gorilla arms? I mean, this is like I don't want to call them gorilla knees because gorilla's knees don't work like this. But you get the idea. I think it's for transformation. Obviously, I think that they could have stuck a knee in there. I know it's a budget line and stuff, but come on, guys. I think it could have stuck a knee in there. I want to say that this is a lot like the Wheeljack that they did. Car mode looks all right, I guess. I don't have any issue with the car mode. But again, it's giant, Strangely enough, in car mode, it doesn't look as big as it does in robot mode in comparison to a deluxe. So, it's still certainly bigger. But like, I look at the car mode and I think, that's Mirage if he was like leader class, So I don't know. And the head, the head looks like he's scarred from life. Like he has some trauma that he needs to deal with, and he has seen some stuff and some things. And look at those gigantic, gigantic eyes. They're just menacing. They are just menacing and a little bit terrifying, right? Yeah, let's go in closer on that head sculpt because that's exactly what we need. Is closer on that. I don't know. It creeps me out a little bit. Maybe you'll like it. I'm not really into the authentic stuff. I'm not gonna lie. Authentic is not for me. Let's put it that way. Let's check in with you guys before I go on to the next news because we've seen a couple of things there now. Let's just see here where we are about here. Marcus says happy holidays. Happy holidays to you too. Anyone has a secret gift giver? A lot of people do that. A lot of people do like a secret Santa type of thing. I'm not involved in any this year, but I do know a lot of people that do that. Skeets enjoy breaking into cars. They sure do. They sure do. And you know what? They've been doing it. Really, like in where is it? Was it over around? It was somewhere where I didn't expect it to be happening, where like people would be breaking into cars. I want to say like over around the hospital or something. It's like, man, like Santa is not going to bring you anything. Like how? To me, that's just evil. Like breaking into stuff is pretty bad and evil anyway. But like over at a hospital a couple of weeks before Christmas, like to me, that's just evil. That's all that is to me. Let's see. D-Dog. Now I know it's Thursday. Micromasters are fun. Sunrunner is top tier. I like Micromasters, but they're not for everyone. Like, I feel like, and I said this to Masterfire earlier, and I don't know if he replied or not. Maybe you can reply now, Masterfire, since you're here. He said, like, Detour, I don't think I'm going to get more Micromasters. That's fair. I understand that. I get that. But at the same time, my understanding was that, say, like, your era of small bots would be minicons, which are different. I've got a couple of minicons, but like I would have no interest in having a bunch of minicons because I didn't find them that good. But I grew up with Micromasters, so I like them. You didn't. You grew up, my understanding is with minicons, so you probably prefer them in terms of being small bots over the Micromasters. I get that. I think that's a generational thing, honestly, more than anything else. I think my uncle's going to get you a PS5, despite that he got you a PS3 when his mom visited. Well, you know what? Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. If he has the means and is generous enough to get you a PS5, say thank you. Be gracious. Be happy about it. Saw the thumbnail. Oh, good Lord. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. It'll be part of it tonight. Big Bruiser Bot, just in time for the news, says Waspinator. Hey, Dragonfly. I'd love to get a G1 Die Atlas. That'd be interesting. Absolutely, that'd be interesting. I really appreciate the movie Prime look since Bumblebee. Yeah, I think that most people would agree that the look of the body and stuff of the Transformers in Bumblebee and even in Rise of the Beasts is more what the original should have been. The original is so spiky and stylized and whatnot. At least what you got in the last couple of live action movies was somewhat more recognizable, depending on the character, of course, right? But somewhat more recognizable, even with the concept art stuff. Like when you see Sunstreaker, like it's obviously Cybertron, it's obviously stylized, but there's enough hits on Sunstreaker that like, it's Sunstreaker. When you see concept art Megatron, it looks more like Megatron than say the first movie Megatron does. You know what I mean? Optimus has always managed to maintain it, but I think a lot of that is because of his head and the fact he's red, and we've always kept his window chest. But undoubtedly, the last couple of primes have certainly been more what we think of as Optimus Prime, with the blocky shoulders and the squared off chest, looking strong and buff, right? Or at least that's my explanation of it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you think differently. How many Optimus Primes coming out this year? I don't know, but if you haven't seen it yet, we already have up the top 10. The top 10 best fan voted Transformers of 2024. And I'm not going to lie, it is Optimus Prime heavy, heavier than I expected. Now we are doing the harder one, the top 10 worst Transformers of 2024, which was a really strong year. But the votes are rolling in, and we'll see those results on Monday. Tomorrow, I'm going to note this now because I don't know if I already showed this when I got it. But I didn't do the review, so we're going to do the review tomorrow. But tomorrow is going to be the review of this year's Hallmark Keepsake Ornament. And it's, of course, the Holiday Optimus Prime, colored very, very much after the Holiday Optimus Prime, right? Colored very much after that VNR mold that came out last year or the year before. So this is going to be tomorrow's review. Next week, we will do the Studio Series Megatron that my wife got thrifting. And next week, we're going to do a very Transformers Christmas. We're just going to have some fun. Then the following week, of course, is Christmas week. We will do the countdown on Monday. The days of Christmas being like the 24th, 25th, 26th, like I'm not doing anything. We'll come back with the live show sometime, probably that Thursday, maybe even that Friday. We'll see, because I'll be on holidays then as well. And that week, the only review will be Legacy United Quake. So that's kind of covering tomorrow, next week, and the week after. And that'll kind of take us then into the last week of December and the first week of January. And we'll talk about that when we get to it. But everything's sort of planned up there and coming together. I've gotten 5 Optimuses this year. So I like Prime, but he's one of my top characters. So that's a hit for me. I can't do doubles. I don't see the point. I've never saw the point. But again, like, I guess if you got the space, but if I have an Optimus Prime and I have space next to that Optimus Prime, I don't want to put another Optimus Prime there. I want to put a different character there. But that's just me. Hey, Matt. Only figure I didn't pre-order was the Star Convoy. Oh, there was lots I didn't pre-order. I didn't pre-order most of them, but I pre-ordered the 3 Primes and Wasp, or Fugitive Waspinator and Wasp. I'm not interested in the G2 Grimlock at all. I'm not sold on the aerial bots in the least, but we'll talk about that a bit more. I'm on the fence about Star Convoy, but we'll talk about that a bit more too. Hey, Lance. I'm not a fan of Star Convoy being chunky legs, just me. Yeah, I can understand that it is exceedingly like late 80s, early 90s Japanese aesthetic. Exceedingly that. And if you like that, cool. And if you don't like that, well, then you don't like that. I like to have a new die Atlas, but knowing our luck, Hasbro will make an excuse. I mean, Hasbro didn't do the last die Atlas, right? I mean, that was Takara. And I like it. I love that mold. I think the waist should have been solidified a bit more. And I had to fix a couple of things with the other parts of Big Powered, but it was all right. It's just the Takara tolerance issues. That was the problem, the Takara tolerance issues. Let's see. Let's go down here a little bit. I still want the Legacy Cybertron Hotshot and Override. Override's great. Can't speak to the Hotshot. I mean, I've heard it's all right, but I've also heard it's, if you have the original, you kind of don't need it. But I can't speak to it myself. I really don't know. Speaking of Age of the Primes, Star Convoy, I want to get that as my first Autobot Titan. Interesting. I don't know if I would call it Titan, though. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Hear me out. Amazon Capsule GoBots. I mean, they're going to say that they've done those. They're going to say that they've done the GoBots because they've done the e-hobby stuff, right? I still see Hotshot and Override as a couple of don't judge. As a couple don't judge. I mean, I don't know why I would judge. I don't know what that means. So I wouldn't judge because I don't know what you're talking about. I'm pleased that Hasbro is charging less for Star Convoy at $150. Yeah, actually it's $204. Well, $199 to $204 here Canadian. And I agree. I think that's probably the right price for him in the modern time. But again, we'll talk about that when we get to it because I do have some thoughts on it. Cybertron Hotshot is neat. He does a lot that the original does, but just seems a tad better. That's fair. And I really wouldn't know because I don't really know the original either that well. Let's go here next. We've been talking so much about Cybertron Con coming out of Shanghai that, you know what, went under the radar? Singapore Comic Con. So we're just going to quickly look at some of the images that came out of Singapore Con last week. And of course, like that, there you go. Like, and you can see, like, there's a lot of stuff there, right? Like, there's a lot of stuff there. And it's more than just Transformers, obviously. A lot of the blockies are on display here. So if you're into those, cool, I guess. I mean, they look all right, I guess, if that's your thing, right? Obviously, you can see things from various lines in here as well. I don't think any of it is like, I think it's all officially licensed stuff, but I don't think any of it is like mainline stuff. I haven't really gone through a lot of this either, but it's really cool to see. Like, how Gundam-y looking is that Optimus? And some of you might know what some of this is better than me. Like, I look at this Shockwave plushie and I think, is that the Symbiote Studios Shockwave? I really don't know, but it's neat to see. 3-0, of course, had a ton of stuff on display. Their stuff is gigantic, but it is so beautifully sculpted and painted. It's more art than anything else. Like, look at that on display. Look how it displays for a shattered glass. For a shattered glass Optimus Prime. I mean, it's really gorgeous. Same with Megatron here from the last night, I do believe. You can see Primal down there, Bumblebee up top. This would be Megatron from Dark of the Moon, I believe. I think it might be Rise of Revenge of the Fallen. Hard to say for sure. And of course, some of these have the display bases, as you know, as you would know. Killer Body showed off a number of their products, especially the helmets, like the Bumblebee we talked about, the G1 Optimus recently with the 15 metallic plates on it. Right? I mean, Killer Body really goes out of their way to do a heck of a job with those helmets. Oh, as we go down here a little bit, hold on. We were on this one. I mean, we've seen this like diorama before, and that's what it is. This is a diorama. It's a like, it's not figures. This is statues, right? This is a statue. Gigantic, but like the Grimlock is beautifully molded. Rodimus holding the Matrix. I mean, the Optimus up behind with half of his body destroyed, half of his body there. It's beautiful. And we're back around to the blockies again. So a lot of things on display there that are cool, but they're more what I would call fringe rather than mainline, right? But they're cool. There's nothing wrong with them at all. It is pretty neat. A few other things that came out of Cybertron Con, since we're on Cybertron Con. A few other things that came out of there. These are some pictures, which I kind of show, but I'm really doing it more. Like, there's the Masterfire is going to love this. There is the Takara, I guess it's 40th anniversary, Star Convoy with the alternate head and stuff. I mean, yeah, no doubt, this looks absolutely beautiful. I like the yellow rather than the gold, which is why I'm keeping the legacy one. But you know what? I can't argue. Like, if you prefer this, I can't argue with you. I really can't, because it is really beautiful. And you know what? Maybe it is worth getting. Maybe I will at some point. I don't know. Here, of course, we have what a lot of people are calling lazy Godzilla and Mecha Godzilla with the Grimlock mold and the Optimus. This is the Optimus that's a crossover with the racing company. I can't remember what it's called now, but I think it uses the Studio Series Crosshairs mold, if I'm not mistaken. Here we have MPG, Super Ginrai, and again, like, that looks great. This, of course, was a display where they were talking about a lot of the items and whatnot. I'm not worried about that. You can see I'm kind of flying through some of this, right? Let's get down here. Let's get down here to here, say. And yeah, like here we have, at the HasLab. Oh, maybe I can go back though. Yeah, there's a little bit. Okay, so hold on. Let me go up here a little bit because I think I went. There we go. I don't know what these are. Oh, these are 3.0 deluxes that were on display there. You saw Jazz, you saw Ironhide, they're grayscale. You probably saw the um, Mirage from Rise of the Beast, I guess. And the Mirage looks good. Again, 3.0 stuff. I mean, not much to say other than it's spectacular. Super Ginrai, that's the regular truck. He is actually quite large when you see him in comparison to others. Definitely MP scale, but he's actually pretty darn big. I think a little bit bigger than 86 Optimus, if I'm not mistaken. I don't mean the super mode. I mean just the cab. I think is a bit bigger than the 86 Optimus. I could be wrong on that. Of course, we had the HasLab on display. The chest here looks a little too wide to me still, but I've seen alternate pictures where the chest seems like it's closed in a bit more. So maybe that can adjust a little bit to look better. Here, I just feel like there's too much red between the chest windows. Magnus looks stellar. Together looks absolutely stellar. That's your money shot, right? The Together. And again, I don't think anything here is really that much of a shock. We've seen these items before. So I'm going to go down because again, I'm trying to be timely, right? A closer up here of the Star Convoy. I love the line mold. I love the face. I just wish the mane was still yellow. I'm going to say this might be the new upcoming studio series. This is the T-Spark, I think it's called, Rodimus. Really impressive looking piece in both modes. Obviously very, I want to say IDW inspired. More of Ginrai there. And like, I get it. I'm happy with the mainline one from the like Prime Wars era. I'm happy with that, but I'm not going to argue that this is obviously better. Obviously far more expensive as well. So, I mean, you get what you pay for, right? Or you'd like to think you get what you pay for. Some box art here and whatnot, and some posters and whatnot. We, of course, have some of the aerial bots here. I feel like the lower legs on... Now, this is just me. Before I say this, we're 10 years now removed from Combiner Wars. I have said for 10 years that I think that the benchmark for Combiner Wars was Superion. I think he was a perfect combiner. Sleek, slender, cohesive, functional, wide range of motion. I adore him. And I do have quick slinger or slingshot. So I can make him proper. Some people have said that they find the chest on that one opens up. I don't really find my chest opens. Never did. Can it if you fiddle it enough? Yeah, I guess. But generally, I find it very solid. I look at this and I think, wow, that is certainly a heck of a slingshot. But I feel like the lower legs are quite large. And if you really look at the feet, the way the heel spurs come out, they come out really far behind the leg. I wonder just how much kibble is on the back. I get there's going to be a lot because it's the aerial bots. I understand that. But I wonder, by comparison to the Combiner Wars, just how much more is hanging off the back. I'll be interested to see some back-on views. Same with Air Raid here. A lot of plane hanging off that back. And on his lower legs, on the back where the black is, there are tail wings, I guess, fins, that are stuck out straight. I don't know if they can fold in or fold to the side or what, but stuck off straight, I have to wonder how much that kind of fills in behind his thigh when you bend the leg. Like, I really wonder, because there's a lot of junk kind of right there on the back, if you know what I'm saying. Right? Now, I mean, maybe you're cool with that. I'm sure a lot of people will be. Of course, some images here. We're going to talk about this guy in a little bit with the big boy being, of course, Star Optimus Prime or Star Convoy, if you will. The combined mode here, very much using the frame of Legacy Menasor. A lot of people see that as a win because they love that. I don't. Neither of the arm gimmicks work with my dead end or my drag strip. It doesn't feel good putting them together or taking them apart. When I move the arm forward, they jiggle off because the ratchet is so heavy. They just jiggle and fall off the upper arm, like the bicep area or the forearm. So I don't like that. It's not solid and it's not a combiner. It's just Minosaur putting on sleeves. When it comes to the lower legs, I hope that the way these attach on the lower legs is better than the Stunticons, because one of the holes on my Wild Rider is already stressed because I don't know if the hole is too small or the peg is too big, but it's already stressed. And the paint, the blue paint on Breakdown is already scuffed pretty bad. If you look at the pegs on the back of the legs when you take Breakdown off, there's blue paint on those pegs. I'm terrified every time I do it that I'm going to break the pegs off. I don't like it. I don't think it's a good way to do combiners. I don't like it. So I'm sticking with Combiner Wars because I know that if I review this, I'm going to be biased because I already know I don't like it. Do I think it looks more G1 accurate? Yes, I do. Do I understand if you prefer this as a combining method? Yes, I do. Do I think it is worth 3 times the price of Combiner Wars? Because that's what it is here in Canada. 3 times the price. With my experience with Combiner Wars, Menosaur and Legacy Menosaur, no, I don't think it's worth 3 times the price. So it's not for me, but if it's for you, hey, go for it. I will say this. I am pleasantly surprised with the Superion that the base part, if you want to call it that, that's part of the frame, doesn't just stay off. You can attach it to the back of the plane. Makes for one hella big plane, but you can attach it, and I respect that. So I guess you could say, I respect this insofar as I understand why people would appreciate it, and it's 10 years on. But do I think it's better? No. Do I think it's more animation accurate? Yes. Do I think it's perfectly animation accurate? Absolutely not. Wasp, totally in for it. Didn't get the Bumblebee mold at all. Didn't care about Bumblebee. I'm not going to call this Fugitive Waspinator. We have a Waspinator. To me, this is Wasp, and that's who he's going to be. The Fallen. Come on. How cool is this? Prima. Come on. Can't wait. And again, here's an example of a character, Red Alert, who apparently is part of the Prima lineage. Apparently, if you were to date him back, and I've talked about how the Primes are all, they all have a lineage. The Seekers are the Liege Maximo. Small bots like Minicons and Micromasters are Micronus. Combiners are the Nexus lineage. Well, I didn't know that, but this guy is Prima's lineage. Who knew? And again, while this isn't a Red Alert I know enough to be able to say, wow, this is a heck of a Voyager that embodies that character super duper well. Super duper, way better than the original in terms of screen accuracy. Will it be better than the original in terms of functionality and transformation? Time will tell. But in terms of screen accuracy, this is really impressive. Not for me, but I absolutely respect it. And if you're a Unicron Trilogy fan, I would be very happy with this. Again, you can see, some stuff here that was on display, of course, that they were talking about and whatnot. Here we have Solus Prime. Some people have mentioned that she's very purple. So she should be. If my understanding is that a lot of her influence is drawn from her look in the Aligned Continuity and the Machinima Prime Wars trilogy. And in both of those, she was exceedingly purple. The yellow really speaks a lot to the Prime Wars trilogy. And there are other iterations of her where she is purple. So the purple, pretty accurate. As Mark pointed out himself, her forge is a bit different than the forge that we normally see. But again, it's a bit stylized, but it looks cool. A lot of images here of Star Convoy again on display. The chest, really, really kind of impressive. And you can see here, of course, he comes with the 14 blast effects he comes with. You'll notice the hilt in his hand. That's actually meant to be the silver matrix. For those who don't know, the silver matrix can actually rewrite reality. That's what it is. It takes in all the power of all the other colored matrices and can literally rewrite reality. And of course, it is the artifact, I suppose, that 13 has, the mysterious 13th Prime has. It is often mistakenly made equivalent with the matrix of leadership. The matrix of leadership is the wisdom of all past primes. The silver matrix is able to shape reality. And the third matrix that gets confused with the matrix of leadership is the creation matrix, which is actually able to create life. 3 different matrices, often used interchangeably, but by rights, they do have 3 separate functions. So here you're able to use the silver matrix as a hilt and put some blast effects in it and make like a flame sword. He comes with the little, they call it the Micromaster Rodimus, but I got a feeling just with his joints and stuff, I think he might be a little more than Micromaster. I think he might be kind of core class, but he looks really good. We have the little container thing that's actually labeled as 13. Fun fact, originally, way back, they done a number of those containers and labeled them 1 to 12. And the one that came with the original Star Convoy had no number on it. Well, now that one's getting a number and it's 13. As well, apparently the tread's able to come off and become like the battle station base in base mode that Rodimus is on. Apparently that's a version of Roller. Weird. So like there's a lot of lore here. The one thing that I do like about this Star Convoy is he comes with the Zodiac. And the Zodiac is, I guess, again, an energy that really works in conjunction with the Silver Matrix to create reality and be able to even resurrect the dead, which is how Optimus comes back, because they use the Zodiac energy, right? Die Atlas and the boys use the Zodiac energy under the threat of Dark Nova to bring back Optimus Prime. And yeah, this is how he comes back. Right? I think that's core class. Love the paint job on him. Apparently this is Roller. I don't know. It's weird. Very weird. And again, like, look how bulky for a leader class the Fallen is here. Yeah, look at the flame on him. It's gorgeous. A little more of Prima and of her. Right? So, and like, again, that looks cool, I guess, if you want him there. Let's kind of go through these a little bit. Did I get through all of them? I think I got through all of them. Yeah, I think I got through all of those. So let's close this one out. And let's check in with you guys, because I know I've gone through a bunch of stuff there, and we're making okay time. So let's go through here a little bit, because I know I dropped a lot of lore there too. The only one I didn't pre-order was Star Convoy. Let's see. About here. With Student Series 110 Shockwave and Shadow Striker Transformers Sesame Street crossover. I'd be down for that. Give me a Cookie Monster, man. Give me a Grover. Give me a Super Grover. That's the cutest mad scientist robot I've ever seen. Is the next Walmart capsule going to be Transformer Cybertron? I don't know. I haven't heard what the next Walmart capsule is going to be, honestly. So we go down here a little bit. Oh, no, black screen. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry that it went black. Ah. Bummer. Okay, that's okay. We'll make up for it. You wouldn't have seen Star Convoy on Zone. He wasn't in Zone. He is the Battlestars, Return of Convoy Battlestars pages. Zone was only, of course, one thing. It was supposed to be a series that was going to lead to what they done in the comics eventually. But basically, after Violent Jiger was defeated, Dark Nova rose to power. Dark Nova, long story short, really wanted the Zodiac energy all for himself, and went so far as resurrecting Galvatron from his icy grave in the Arctic to make him Super Megatron. And the Autobots were like, "Hey, let's bring back Optimus," and that's kind of what they did. And not for nothing, but the Battlestars are him, Star Convoy, Grandus, and Sky Gary. Sky Gary being the smallest of the 3. And the 3 of those basically battled Super Megatron and Dark Nova and Dark Nova's minions. And then Ultra Megatron, and eventually they battle against and destroy Star Giant, which is when Dark Nova and Megatron bash together. It's a cool story. It's too bad it was never made into a show. Sorry that went dark there, guys. I kind of want Twitch and Thrash to get chugged. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. I'm not sure why that went black, though, because I was checking back, and I was pretty sure it was there. Sorry about that. And the screenshots, yeah, they look kind of iffy. Now, that said, let's go to this then. So this, my friends, is specifically Optimus Prime Star Convoy. Now, here's what's interesting. I look at this and they said he's 15 inches. So he's actually not Titan. Let's be realistic here. I know they're calling it Titan because that's a modern day thing. What he actually is Supreme class. He is literally at 15 inches in between Cybertron Primus, which was also released in the last night, at 14 inches, and Armada Unicron at 16 inches. This guy is right in the middle of those two. He's big. And you know what? Star Convoy should be big. In fiction, he's 45 meters. I think Optimus is something like 28 feet. How many meters is 28 feet? Let's just see. Because I'm using two different measures there, and I'm not 100% sure offhand what that is. Let's do feet to meters. And let's go 28 feet. What? Yeah, so like that makes no sense. $28. Yeah, so like Optimus would be about 8.5 meters tall. But when he becomes Star Convoy, he's 45 meters tall. Megatron is a bit taller at 35 feet. So Megatron would be, say, 10.5 meters tall, and he becomes 35 meters. So making him about Supreme class, making them about Supreme class makes sense. It works. I get that, and I'm not even angry about it. I'm happy that they reduced the price. Now, Starscream Wife got me my Primus secondhand for $50. When the last night Primus came out, let's talk about the price here, because I don't think calling it a Titan or looking at Titan price makes sense, because it's not a Titan, you know? I guess Star Convoy is supposed to be 45 meters. Metroplex is 800 meters, just by comparison. But let's look at it as a Supreme class. When Primus came out in the last night, it was 150 Canadian. Okay. That was in 2017. This is now going to be 8 years later. We've gone through hyperinflation, everything. This is going to sell in Canada for 200 Canadian. While I would prefer to see it as 150 Canadian and probably 100 US, all things considered, and considering everything that comes in the package here, I don't think that it's too bad. I think it's a reasonable price for what you're getting. And I think that reducing the size of what we call Titan and reducing the price is probably a smart way to keep that size class going, because I think it was getting to a point of law of diminishing returns for the really big, you know? Now, that said, just very quickly, because I was talking about some of the stuff that comes with this guy, and you guys said black screen. So in his hand here, you probably noticed that he has like a flame sword. That great thing in his hand is the silver matrix that I was talking about a few minutes ago. As well, the silver matrix can go attached to his blaster to make the big boom cannon, which is funny because originally Star Convoy was not going to be Optimus Prime. It was going to be a new character called Big Boom. That didn't happen. It can also go stored in his leg when not in use, which is strange, but okay, whatever. The legs are real big and thick. I'd like to know how deep the knee bend is. I'm hoping that it'll show what I want to show. Yeah, so here's the base mode, right? And I talked about this a little bit. So you may notice over on the far side, we have Rodimus stood on like a little battle platform. Apparently, that little battle platform is actually a version of Roller, which is weird. I don't know how it's a version of Roller, but it is. I also think that the little Rodimus there, or the little Hot Rod, is more core class. Like I said, this is also mistransformed because where the legs are open there's also ramps that flip down. They're not flipped down. So this is a little mistransformed, right? There's ramps there. You can see they're folded up and closed in. They're supposed to be flipped down, and the feet should be folded up a little bit more. You can see that they're down on the ground. So it's a little mistransformed in this sample, but enough you get the idea. And yeah, so like I'm not angry about it. I think it's respectable. Do I feel like I want it or need it? Well, here's the thing. I got this guy, the leader class one. And honestly, nowadays, being 9 inches, as this guy is, 9.5, I think it is, I kind of feel like this might be big enough for me. He can pull off a number of base configurations. And if I want to use Optimus while he's in base configuration, I can still pop out the chest and the whole thing becomes a Voyager-sized Optimus while his body is a base. He still has the Silver Matrix, which is the one that can create life, just like this has the Silver Matrix. I know the truck mode on this is way off compared to what it should be. I don't know if I need the new one, so that's why I didn't pre-order it. I feel like it'll be one of those things I'll almost have to wait and see more on it and think about it. I'm not rushing out for it, but I understand if you do. I also understand if you don't, because I think that one is great, and I think the new one is great. I think they're both great updates to a really outlandish version of Convoy / Optimus Prime. Speaking of Age of the Prime, Prima, love this. Now, I was saying for a long time, I don't think this is very G1, and I didn't see it. Now that I see this and I see it up close and I see it full color, the head sculpt is absolutely G1 cartoon. It is the sculpt of G1 cartoon. It's not the color of G1 cartoon. The color is highly inspired by his coloration in like the aligned continuity, but the dark gray, gunmetal gray bits, I'm glad that they're to break up the sea of white, but at the same time, it's a little jarring because it's not exactly the way it should be. Nevertheless, look at the articulation here. Really impressive. As well, his matrix is not the matrix of leadership. His is also the silver matrix. Worth noting, even though he is the first bearer of the matrix of leadership, the matrix he's coming with is the silver matrix. Apparently, his vehicle mode, according to Mark Marr, is a lunar vehicle, like a lunar craft. So, okay, I guess it's not just a Cybertronian truck. It's apparently a lunar craft. Cool, I guess. Why not? That can become a hovercraft. Cool, I dig that. And I love this. The sword can go stored on the front as like a battering ram. And Mark does specifically note that the Matrix can go in the hilt as it's supposed to, and this is the famed Star Saber sword. But the Matrix can also go in his chest. I think I'm going to probably use this. See, you can see it right there on the hilt. I think I'm going to use this as a Matrix of leadership that got passed down rather than the Silver Matrix, because I got a Silver Matrix in Star Convoy. But like, I think this is really cool. I really dig it. I'm impressed. Very, very impressed. Speaking of Mark Marr and primes, he also showed off Solus, and so there's things here I like and things here I don't like. I really do like the look of her. This skirt down front and down back, I wonder how much that's going to hinder articulation and get in the way. I know you can flip it up, but like if you flip it up, that's a lot of skirt just stuck out front. I get it that a lot of her designs, she has the flowy skirt in the front and the back. But I think for me, I would prefer if I could turn that to the side and have them be more like hip skirts than front and back. And maybe you can. I don't know. Time will tell. The Forge looks nothing like the Forge that we know and love, but it is the Forge because it is the Forge, right? You can see the skirt here, like, is pretty big in front. The vehicle mode, not what I would have pictured for her, but I don't hate it. It's Cybertronian, obviously, but again, other than for a review, I would never have her in this anyway because these guys existed before there was the ability to transform, right? So they wouldn't have had alt modes. Of course, there she is standing under an angry Megatronus who, well, we all know what he accidentally did, right? But he loved her. He absolutely loved her. And it's a real shame what happened. If you don't know that lineage, look it up. See, a lot of purple, but yeah, like it makes perfect sense. She should be purple. Let's check in with you guys again for a moment. Sweet Solace. I'm happy Dentist is excited. I think you mean Dennis is excited, but looks like I won't be buying too many figures this year. I gotta go up here and see what you guys are saying. I obviously missed some stuff here. The only thing I ever really liked about Star Convoy was the gun turrets on his shoulders. They're over the top, and I love that. That's fair. There is no better TF memory for me than opening up G1 Power Master Optimus Prime in 8889. Great memory. It is a great memory. And I could understand, for example, if you were drawn to the MPG Power Master Optimus Prime or Super Ginrai, whatever you want to call them. Honestly, wasn't too interested in the 13 at first, but they look cool. Oh, I've wanted the 13 for a decade, and I have amassed a makeshift version of them. So to get an actual set of the 13, man, easily a decade. Easily a decade I've wanted the 13. They really seem to be derived from all iterations from Prime except Vector and Star. And I get that they would only draw so much for Star because traditionally the 13th Prime isn't actually Star Convoy. It's just Optimus Prime. And Optimus Prime gave up being a Prime to be reborn as Orion Pax. And could always be remade or reawakened by Alpha Trion, who held the Matrix until things were so hopeless that Orion Pax was going to have to come back as the hero, which kind of explains how easily Alpha Trion was able to rebuild Optimus Prime. He just gave him the Matrix. He became Optimus Prime. And like kind of went back to having his memories, apparently. That's the way the story goes. Read the Covenant of Primus, right? Read the Covenant of Primus. That's what I would tell you. In terms of Vector, I mean, other than kind of changing to a bit of a gold color, Vector kind of always maintains the look that he had in Unicron Trilogy. And there's nothing wrong with that look because it's a great look. It's an iconic look. I think most of us see those shoulder pads and know his head sculpt and think, yeah, Vector Prime. The other ones have been more fringe and represented in different fictions, different ways. Primus should be blue and gray. No, I don't agree with that at all. Primus should be all white, basically, not blue and gray. He should be all white because I would say his best known version is the Align continuity. That's the first one too, where he was actually named. So I don't know. I don't agree with that. Small, affordable Transformers would have been 20 years ago, I guess. Looks nice and monochromatic, yeah. Not into the Fun Pub Dreamwave mythos, so the 13 Primes, Lord, don't speak to myself personally. I mean, that's not a Fun Pub Dreamwave thing, but okay. I mean, it's the lore. It is the established official lore, right? The lore now is the one created Primus and Unicron. You can hate it if you like, but it is the accepted lore. Like it is the canon lore at this point. I don't know what that ad was because usually I try and stop those things. Solus is probably one of the cleanest fembots we've gotten, possibly. I know next to nothing about the Primes. I don't understand how you're a Transformers fan and don't know about the Primes. Like, that baffles me. But I mean, to each their own again, I guess. But I just don't understand it. I just don't get it. I'm really happy Solus is not another motorcycle. Me too. That's a good point. Solus Prime looks cool. I kind of like the sharp, pointy truck mode of Solus Prime. I get that. I can't wait until the 13 Primes. Me either. It's what they should have done in Power of the Primes, honestly. I'm already planning a display for the 13. What vector was in Cybertron? I mean, what vector was in Cybertron? Vector Prime. He lives outside of time and space. He came in because he had to come in to that particular universe. I'm not really sure what you're asking there. Think it will be crazy if they made a Power of the Primes Optimus. They did make a Power of the Primes Optimus. I'm not going to argue the 13 with you, Matt. I mean, they're lore. They're the accepted lore, and that's all you need to know. The Quintessons did not create the Transformers. The Quintessons manipulated a young race into believing they were created, as conquerors and dictators do. I mean, you can hate it, you can not like it, but it is the accepted lore. I got things about the accepted lore I don't like too. We all do. But when it comes to the 13, I think it's elegant. I love it. Read the Covenant of Primus. That's what you should do. Man, you got to expand beyond 1984 to 1987. You're missing on it so much, and you're hating on so much. That's beautiful, beautiful lore, man, and wonderful characters. Just saying. Worth expanding because there's a lot out there to explore that's just great. Moving on with the news. We're running out of time. This, of course, is the new Superion. I already talked about my problems with it. Look at that leg. Look at that lower leg. I mean, how much is sticking off the back there? I wonder how deep the knee can be when there's an entire air raid sticking off the back. I can see up here that Slingshot will split in half. Again, my experience is that those halves fall off the arms and do not stay on solid. So that's why I don't want this. I don't see the appeal for me. But if yours works better and fine, I see it. So, Silverbolt looks phenomenal. He looks really, really excellent. Like the clean look of the jet. Even like that you can take that base thing and put it on the back. All of this that we're seeing right here. And I'm going to go back here now just to make sure that you guys saw everything. Love this guy in robot mode. Really do. Love the plane mode. Really do. I think it's great. Dig this. Really do. I think it's also pretty great. Again, look at the fin sticking off the back of the leg. Like, I really wonder with air raid, how deep is that knee going to be? Maybe it'll be great. Maybe they can move. Same thing here. Look how far back the heels go. I don't know. The lower legs just seem super big to me. But that's just me. If you like this, then get it. Because honestly, this isn't one of those gripes. Like when they done Menasor, I was like, man, it was only like 7 years ago you did Menasor. This is too soon. This is now 10 years. I think 10 years is a good gap period. Another 10 years, probably revisit these guys again. But you know what? Yeah, this is fine. It's not for me. If it's for you, I respect it, but it's just me. I guess we'll take a look at this. Just some more in hand to the Bump a Chicken Optimus. It's the Earthbound. I'm not going to go through all of these because we saw a bunch of these last week. You know, like it's just wild. It is what it is. I'm not all of it. Let's go to Newage. And Newage showed this. Their Legends class Galvatron. How magnificent is this thing? Alternate hands, alternate faces. Comes with the Matrix. I mean, impressive. But I mean, at this point, do any of us really expect Newage to not be impressive? That's what I would ask. From the back, very clean. From the front here with the Matrix on it, super clean. Man, oh man. Like even here without the particle cannon on, like look at it, man. Alt mode, super clean, magnificent, really, really magnificent. But that's not all Newage showed. No, Newage also showed this. Shattered glass shockwave. A lot of yellow here on this guy. We know that they've done a shockwave. Magnificent little Legends class guy. A lot of yellow here. I love shattered glass, so this is cool. You know, I don't have a problem with this. There he is, being on his display base in his blaster mode. That looks really cool. Again, impressive. Impressive. I just wish Newage made stuff that was a little bit bigger. But that's not all Newage did. Newage did something that I've never seen them do before. Maybe you have. With an upgrade kit for concept art Megatron. I think that people that love G1 are going to really love this because it makes concept art Megatron a lot more G1-esque. New head, a new cannon piece that goes on the back. That's like the barrel of his gun that's usually up on his back. And a new, thicker, fatter, fusion cannon piece that actually has an LED in it. So here you can see both. The face of the Newage set, better. You can see behind his shoulder, the piece stuck up, and you can see the difference in the fusion cannon. The upgraded fusion cannon, obviously better. Right? Again, you can see the comparison there. But what I like is look at the tank mode. Even in a tank mode, the barrel like just looks more sinister, more evil, more Megatron-esque. Same in the plane, although I'm not going to lie, it's kind of gawking and an eyesore on the plane. Looks great. Really, really impressed for an upgrade kit. But again, it's Newage. Would you expect anything less? Just surprised. That's all. Just surprised. Then we have. Actually, I can close that one. Then we have this, and I think this might be a Chinese exclusive. It's in hand of those like Aldi Action Elite or whatever they're called. I think these are only going to be in China, and they range. Just to make sure I'm telling you the right information here on this, because I did have it. I thought, did I care enough to write it down? Maybe I didn't even care enough to write it down. I don't see it there now, but I thought that I did. Strange. Oh, yes, I did. The Aldi Action Elite. They're blind bagged, which is not a thing I like. They range from 13 centimeters, like Optimus here, down to 5.5 centimeters. Actually, I think Optimus is 11 centimeters, down to 5.5 centimeters. I think Optimus is 11. Very articulated. No doubt about it. Like, very, very, very articulated. RC is a bit smaller again, right? She looks good, though. Again, very posable. I think she's 8, something like that. Now, something like Cliff Jumper here, he's 5.5, right? 5.5 centimeters. So they're not big. They're only small. But again, super accurate. I think he's 11. That's Soundwave. I think Starscream is 13. And I think it's because of the shoulder pylons. Starscream looks one of the best, I think. I think Jazz is 9, if I'm not mistaken. I think the Insecticon is also 5.5. That being Kickback there. I think Kickback is 5.5. And you can see there the size next to someone's hand, for example, right? You know, and there he is next to the Studio Series 86 Optimus. You can see the size here next to 86 Optimus, up to about his waist, right? So they're cool. They don't transform, but they are what they are. And finally, for the news, DNA Design. And a kit for Transformers 1, Optimus and Megatron. Varied faces. and blasters. New forearms and hands for Optimus there. If you like that sort of thing. New fusion cannon for Megatron, which I think he desperately needed. That's a cool looking fusion cannon. In vehicle mode, not a lot of differences for Optimus other than a blaster put in the back. The new cannon on the upgrade, I think, makes the tank look way better. Optimus can now hold the Matrix and stuff. They do show the faces, right? Like there's the old head, there's the upgrade head. It does definitely look more animation accurate. But what I wanted to show was, if they show it, maybe they didn't show it. My bad. They do have heads in there, faces in there that are Orion packs. For if you want the body to be Orion packs. And the blasters also come in different colors. The Optimus blaster comes in different colors. One of which is in this bronzy color that can go with your Vector Prime. So throwing a little extra something in there for Vector as well. Let me just run through the news real quick to make sure of what I got here. Then we'll do the trivia, the unboxing, get out of here because I'm running a little behind schedule, more than I wanted to. Authentics Mirage, we talked about. I didn't talk about this. The Hydropods, Optimus Prime and Megatron. Apparently they're like water battling and they like use water to fire these discs at a target. They're like a glorified water gun, I guess. We talked about the Star Convoy stuff, really how I think he's more Supreme class than Titan class, but I think that's okay. In the pipeline, I didn't show this, but in the pipeline, they revealed that we're getting a Skybite. They, of course, revealed Onyx Prime. Onyx Prime is going to be a leader class in Wave 2. So Wave 1 leader class is Megatronus and G2 Grimlock. Wave 2 leader class is going to be Onyx. Rescue Bots Heatwave, an upcoming Voyager I absolutely wanted. Love Heatwave. Love Rescue Bots. And for those who missed out on it and were so sad from Chaos on Velocitron, Crasher is getting a reissue. So if you missed out on Crasher, you will be able to get her to add to your GoBots ranks. We already talked about Prima. Stylum Box is doing a mystery box. I think they have like threads and stickers and clothes and hats and that sort of stuff. The Superion stuff we talked about, it's not for me, probably for you. I'm sure I'm in the minority and I understand that. Singapore Comic-Con we talked about. We talked about Star Convoy. We talked about the Newage stuff. Hot Wheels is doing a basic version of their Optimus. You know the Optimus that comes with a trailer? Well, there'll be a basic version which will just be the cab. And instead of having chrome, silver smokestacks, he will just have gray smokestacks. Of course, it's Hot Wheels, so it's truck mode and it doesn't transform. No trailer. We talked about the Aldi stuff, the Yolo Park stuff, the DNA design stuff. Also, on, I think it was TFW, there was an early big convoy sketch. It's just a sketch. Cool to check out if you want to check it out. The only other piece of news that's worth noting is that we have some updates, I suppose, to the Transformers Cyber World line. Apparently that's going to be the show that will follow Earthspark, and probably the last thing that Hasbro is having a hand in producing. Apparently these prices were in Japanese yen and converted to US dollars, so the actual US price might be a little bit different. They will include Cyber Changers for $14.99 US, Armored Cyber Changers for $19.99 US. I guess like Cogged and Cogless bots from Transformers 1. Maybe Cyber Changers and Armored Cyber, like they add armor and become bigger. I don't know. There will be Ultimate Cyber Changer Megatron for $39.99 US. Chomp and Battle Grimlock, that sounds exceedingly gimmicky, for $49.99 US. And Scorponok Strike Battle. I don't know if this is a Scorponok or that's big, or if this is like a box set or something, but it will be $100 US. I don't know. A lot of that sounds gimmicky. I think what kills a lot of these newer lines, I think it happened with Cyberverse. I think it happened with Transformers 1, and I think it's going to happen with Cyberworld, is they put out all of the shelf-clogging, gimmicky junk when the fiction is very new, and people get turned off by the fiction. They say the stuff on the shelf is junk, and by the time the good stuff comes along, your Warrior class and your Deluxe class stuff, people are already checked out. I think that's a problem. And I think just doing a deluxe class for these other fictions is a disservice. I think you got to throw some Voyagers in there at least. Aftermath. I love Earthspark Aftermath, but he should have been a Voyager. No doubt in my mind. Okay, let's do the trivia real quick, and that'll give me a chance to check in with you guys. I like this one. This is an easy trivia, I think, I hope. We know that Prima was the first Matrix bearer, though some would claim he bears the creation matrix or the silver matrix. But we know he's the first matrix bearer. We're going to assume, for the purposes of this question, that he had the matrix of leadership. Who was the second matrix bearer? Who did he hand it on to? Did he hand it on to A, Guardian Prime, B, Nominus Prime, C, Nova Prime, or D, Zeta Prime? Who came after Prima? Guardian, Nominus, Nova, or Zeta? Guardian, Nominus, Nova, or Zeta? And I'm going to check in with you guys. Let's go up here just a little bit. Ad for diamonds. Diamonds would be good. Like McAdam. I love Vector Prime and the fact that he hasn't changed. I think it's great. And I agree. I think it's great too. The 5 Faces of Darkness, they showed Rodimus' former primes passing the Matrix. So technically the 13 can go back to then. Well, yeah, it does. You're right, because it would go all the way back to Prima. As a matter of fact, it goes back to Primon, which it's never been made clear if Primon existed as a Matrix bearer before Cybertron existed, or Prima and Primon are the same guy. And before people say, well, all of these primes are Matrix bearers, so aren't they the 13? No. The 13 each have different artifacts and are each an archetype for some lineage, right? Like I said, it just so happens that the primes that say Rodimus visits in the Matrix of Leadership are part of the Prima lineage, and they all held the Matrix of Leadership. Hey, no, I never liked the backstory of the Quintessons being creators. That never made sense to me, because I looked at the Quintessons and I was like, the Quintessons are robots too. So who made the Quintessons? Right? Robots made robots. And even as a kid, when I was 10, I was like, this is weird. There's something not right here. And I thought that they would flesh it out, but they never did until years later. Who created Primus and Unicron? The One, the sentient core of the universe, created Unicron to first explore. Unicron became fascinated with the idea of chaos theory and things just happen, and kind of went a little nutty. And the One then created Primus to sort of rein him in. Neither of them had bodies for a long time. They were just ethereal energy, as the One was. And you might say, the One, the sentient core of the universe. The One is the thing that existed when the Big Bang happened. And we don't know. Science doesn't know what happened before the Big Bang and the start of the universe. So the One is the sentient, cognizant, aware core of the universe after the Big Bang. And as the universe started to expand, the One wanted to explore this new vastness around it. Read it. All of this stuff exists. Research it. Do some research. All of this exists. Look it up. You have the power of the world and the internet at your hands. Google is your friend. Let's see. I'm so glad my Menosaur had no issues. Mine did. All mine has his issues. I think it's junk. I think it's vastly overpriced junk. Nothing works like it's supposed to. Nothing stays together. The ratchets are stupid too tight. Everything just falls off the arms. It's not well done. Menosaur is one of my all-time favorites. Still not sold on the Spirit. I don't know why everyone likes this. Am I the only one who had? Because I can believe you get a dud of something, but I feel like all of my molds, all of my Stunticons, as a Menosaur, I feel like they're all a dud. I don't feel like any of them are any good as a combined Menosaur. As a combiner, I think it fails miserably. It's so top heavy, it can't stand up. My Combiner War stands up way better than my Legacy. My Legacy always topples over. Not a fan of most Autobot combiners, so Superior is easy pass. Crayola Optimus again. Just happy it won't take 3 years for the aerial bots to come out. Okay, I guess. Have a good one, Matt. Blue's gone. Some of the quints look part biological. I mean, yeah, some of them do. They have tentacles and stuff, but like even a prosecutor is more machine. They're obviously led by the judges. The judges are machines. The Alicons, the Sharkticons, they're machines. I suppose an executioner looks a little biological. You know, bailiff doesn't look biological. So yeah, there are some scientists. I would say scientist and executioner are your two closest to biological. No, not the one is in Transformers 1. I like my CW Minosaur, so passed on Legacy. And you know what? Here's the thing. Even if I liked the Superion, it would have to be 3 times better because it's 3 times the cost. Okay. Nobody guessed. Holy Moses. Oh, here we are. I missed the guessing. Yeah, stop using the evergreen designs. I agree. Zeta D A D D D C. The answer, my friends, is C. Nova Prime, or Prime Nova, as he was originally called. Prime Nova had it. Then he went and sort of disappeared and passed it to Nominus until they learned that no, Nominus was actually fake. Nominus actually wasn't the Prime at all. And Nominus didn't last long. Nova came back and was Prime again for a while. Then he passed it to Guardian Prime. Guardian passed it to Zeta, or Sentinel, or Zeta Sentinel. I like to think he passed it to Zeta. Zeta had it for a short time, passed it to Sentinel. Sentinel had it, passed it to Optimus. Optimus passed it to Rodimus. But that's just the way I like to think of it. Okay, let's get into the unpackaging. But I do want to mention something first. So many, many moons ago, our friend Razor Bear was kind enough to gift me the Transformers Prime BotCon version of Slipstream. And the left bicep of Slipstream was always backwards. It was on backwards, and I hated it, and it drove me nuts. And many times I tried, because this is the first edition mold, I tried to remove a pin in here. Very difficult pin to get to. As you can see on the first edition mold, if you have the first edition Starscream, you know this. Very thin bicep, scary pin to try and get to. And I tried a bunch of times to move it, never could get it moved. And then in late May, June, I was talking to my friend, Justin James, who I've talked about on here before, our buddy Justin from 3D Corner. And he said, when you get out of school for the summer, he said, drop by my place. And he said, I'll have a look at that pin for you, and I'll get it out. Now, he wasn't only my 3D guy, he was my pin guy. Sadly, of course, he passed away before I was able to do that and visit him. Well, a couple of nights ago, I decided I'm going to give it one more kick at the cat, because if I break it and destroy this left arm, well, then I guess I'll get the Legacy United and replace it. If I don't break it, then great, because when she is transformed, and by the way, she stands up a little straighter, like you do the back, but you keep her body straight. She's not hunched over like Starscream. She's supposed to be up a little straighter. If you do that, she stands the same height as Earthrise Voyager class Seekers, with a much thinner body, which I think matches Slipstream. So I really wanted this one to get fixed. So I went and I got some tools and I started on this one. And I said, Justin, buddy, if you can hear me, please work through me. I know you're not afraid to do this pin. I'm terrified. And after all these years, I was able to get that pin out, turn that arm around, and put that pin in. It took me a good hour, but I was able to do it. And you know what? If you believe, you know, that people exist in the afterlife, then I really got to credit my buddy Justin James one more time for helping me out to get the Slipstream that I absolutely love fixed. I really, really love that. A couple of other things to note very quick. Starscream wife, of course, got the banner behind me. That is part of a Christmas gift that she has for me. Starscream wife also has my big light stand that's over here. She has a second one that hopefully will help the lighting things. She also, this isn't one of mine, but I like it. She also had made for me a GotBot hat that it has a screen printed logo on. This is just for me. I got to tighten the back here a bit though, because it's a little bit loose right now. And she had made for me, and this is a one of a kind at this point. Again, if you guys like it, maybe I'll get some stock. We'll see. But a GotBot mug, and this was made specifically for me. But if you guys really like it, I don't know. Maybe it's something in the new year I can consider. I can think about it. If you're like, hey, I get that. Maybe it's something I can consider and actually have a bit of stock. We'll see. So I wanted to point that out. So the ornament, that's also from her, by the way. The ornament, the hat, the banner, the light, and the mug, all of that Christmas stuff from Star Convoy. Got it a little bit early, obviously. Now, we're not going to do everything in this package from Maximal 10. We're only going to do a little bit of it. We're going to save the rest for next week. And I'm only doing a very little bit because the show has gone on really too long tonight. Let's see what this thing is. I don't know what any of this is, by the way, because this is Maximal 10. So this stuff's usually kind of nuts. I do love that he put in some of the tissue paper that we've gotten to know and love now. And in here, what does he have in here? What in heaven's name does he have in here? He has toy box? What is this? I don't know what this is. Let's open it and see. Let's open it and see what this is. I don't know what this is. That's definitely a little vehicle, but do you make this? I don't know what this is. What is it? Oh, okay. So these are like blind bagged, and they're little tiny, teeny weeny, teeny tiny vehicles. Do you see that? Can you see that? See how small that is? I feel like, though, that these would scale super duper well with Titans. I think these are blind bagged. So I'll probably open these. I don't want to say individually, but I'll open these at another time. At a time when I can show them off. This is obviously a bot. That's a camera. It's definitely not reflector, but it's definitely a bot. As is this little game console lad. It's obviously a bot. I'll probably do a little review of both of those bots. So a couple of bots and whatever these teeny tiny little vehicles are. And what I think is a shield from the Last Night Optimus, I think, or Age of Extinction Optimus, I believe. Very silvery shield, though. Very weird shield. Also in here, oh, look at this. Oh, I haven't looked at these, but this should be very interesting. So, we have a couple of blockies. Hopefully this one is Grimlock, he says. He says this one should be Grimlock. So we'll see. And this one will be a rando. So hopefully this one is Grimlock and this one is a rando. I'm not going to open them now, but I'll definitely end up doing like a video that'll be an opening, maybe a build video. I don't know. I don't know what these are like to build. I don't know if I can do a build video, but we'll see. I'm interested to look at these. I've heard great things. I don't think it's a line for me, but I'm really interested to look at those blockies. We'll see what they are because I know they've been very popular. And oh, it's very cool. And I think this is where I'm going to end it tonight. We'll leave the rest for next week. But I love this. This is beautiful. K9, the reissue of K9. I love this mold. This is a great mold, and I love it. He said you can customize it to Tessatron. Of course, Tessa's our dog, right? Beautiful. So tonight, and I'm telling you, like, there's still a substantial amount of bag left for next week. Trust me. But tonight, for the unboxing, you guys now know we have another big light to help us light our darkest hour when we're doing the reviews and the show and whatnot. So hopefully our lighting will even improve a little bit more. The banner, the hat, the mug, the ornament, 2 blockies, whatever those little vehicle things are, as well as a couple of bots, and K9. What a great start to the holiday season. I hope you're getting excited as well. We're getting close. Next week, we will do the rest of this holiday unboxing. Holiday unboxing part 2. For now, thank you very much for coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. I want to thank Starscream Wife. I know she's upstairs doing her own thing, so she probably doesn't care, but I always appreciate her patience. And I want you guys to never forget, not for a moment, not for a second, that somehow, someway, each and every single day, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, right here, right now, at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way, right here inside the videos.